Alright, let's take a look at Team C here. So, Team C is the magic dump because the boss here is kind of similar to Genji in a sense, where Genji had a crazy amount, like 400 or something physical defense and some resistances to physical elements. This boss takes it even further by having 600 physical defense and 50% resistance to every physical element. So you could at least use Strike on Genji, but not so much with this boss. Physical attacks, guaranteed not to work. Even with gigantic buffing, it would take a lot to deal with that, because there's no elemental weakness you can take advantage of. Whilst this boss doesn't have any resistances, she also doesn't have any weakness to anything, so you can't use like Star Sword or, you know, element weapon like you could before with Byakuren and expect it to work. So yeah, that's not so good. But the boss has 0 magic defense, so that is why magic is pretty much the way to go. The catch with all of this is that she can do counter attacks, and she mostly uses physical attacking and some minor dart based attacks, so you need defense against that, and Alice kind of trivializes this fight as a result. This is by far the easiest of the fights to do, because, yeah, Alice just defends so well with this fight that there really isn't much else to go for. So, we have some fairly basic stuff with Marissa still using her tier whatever it is, like 2 armor or something. The previous armor that gives her a lot of bombs. 11 bombs is overkill for this fight because it doesn't last long enough to use all of them, but it's still nice to have that many bombs around anyway. And otherwise just basic tiny bit of HP. HP is difficult to sort of manage in this fight because basically all of your characters except Alice want extra HP. Like, every mage is a really fragile character, right? So unfortunately somebody has to get the short end of the stick that way, and of course Marissa is going to be that character here. But she is going to get defended well enough, and she has more than enough firepower to kind of just punch through this fight. Also minus slash resistance because she has the lowest sort of HP here, but she is not a healer, which is where Satori, let's go speak to Satori for a sec. Satori has sort of a lot more HP and better resistances because she is the healer for this team. So Byakuren might be able to do some minor healing, but Satori is much better at it and can do it much more consistently, so she needs to be better protected. There's no way that I can revive characters here, so Satori's kind of more important to keep, like, you know, fitter than Marissa. Of course, that's not to say that Marissa's gonna die either, but, you know, if somebody's going to die, then I'd rather it be Marissa than Satori, because at least then I can try and keep everybody else alive. So, let's go back with Patchouli real quick, because I actually made Patchouli's tier 6 weapon, so she finally has a thing that way. She finally has an actual book, which is less powerful than the staff weapons that I've been using. That's kind of annoying. You know, you make a tier 6 weapon and it's weaker than the stuff you've been finding in previous stages, but it does increase her light and dark damage, which is good for this fight because I'll be using dark a fair bit, and it gives her 15% more HP, as well as a little bit of magic exorcism. That part doesn't matter for this fight, but more power, more exorcism, it's yeah, more HP. It's a good trade, so we'll go with that. And she can finally use a shield, which means I really should have changed her shield before this, but whatever, she can get defended by Alice most of the time anyway. In terms of what she has for everything here, just a little bit extra defense. There was another item I was going to put on instead of that, but I think the defense is better here, or at the very least it's, you know, serviceable. And since I did get the muscle belt free, that's an extra 100 HP, or really it's 115 HP because of her book here. So it makes sense to give Patchouli the highest HP thing here, especially because she doesn't have any resistances to stuff, other than dark, which is good. Natural dark resistance is nice for this fight. And then Wisdom Ring 2 is the best other thing I got. Sadly, I didn't get Wisdom Ring 3, which of course I did in my brief practice of this of the stage, but you know, such is the way. So then we have Alice still using pretty much the same general stuff, except she has the Echo Amulet, so she is pretty much going to survive any dark attack that ever gets thrown. There's only one dark attack that gets used, and it's after a spell reload, so it's not too difficult to defend against. And, you know, combine the resistance with magic defense, it's fine. I don't think blindness is a factor in this fight, but in case it is, obviously, if Alice got blinded, the game is basically over, so you do not want Alice to get blinded. Therefore, blind resistance is always a good sort of failsafe. We've already talked about Satori, so finally let's go to Byakuren. Byakuren has some stun resistance, don't think that matters too much. I was kind of clutching at, you know, grasping at straws in a sense for these last ones. I didn't really know what to give, but stun resistance might matter. You never know, the boss could pull some obscure daze attack or whatever, so that's resisted if it happens. Squall Hairpin 3 is really nice to make sure she goes ahead of my my other magic casters, so that she can use Spell Enhance on, say, Patchouli before Silent Selene goes out. And just in case she does get hit by a dark attack, the Hades Amulet will defend against that. And it will also give power to Dark Spear should I decide to use that as well. So, growth tree wise, Marissa, for the first time in this playthrough, surprisingly, is running full spark here. So, the Master Spark tree is pretty cool. You get 4 turn cooldown reduction on the Master Sparks, so regular Master Spark can get cast every single turn. It's actually really fun to go through that. And you get a couple extra bombs, which we lost 1 bomb from the laser tree. Fortunately, had to cut this down, so my MP cost is a bit higher than before, but I don't think that matters too much here. And yeah, extra bombs, you can ignore shields, which might matter. I don't remember if this boss has a shield that blocks Mystic. And damage plus 60%. Sparks do a ton of damage when you buff this shield. This trio, as you would expect. Getting tripped over my words here, gosh damn. Yeah, so obviously being able to double cast is still important, that's why I've kept this instead of going for more damage here. And yeah, that's generally what you want. Ideally you would want the laser tree up a lot more as well, but of course growth points are kind of a problem, and I haven't been grinding for them yet, so yeah, we'll see how long that lasts in the next few stages. Then for Patchouli, I am 1 point short, I think, of going for something a bit more useful in the Knowledge Store tree, because that would actually be kind of cool. Physical Deflect 10% would be nice for this, plus a tiny bit extra crit rate because I have magic crits. It's actually surprisingly good. Like, this tree is not bad to finish up on. Because I don't have that though, we have a tiny bit extra magic attack on the book tree here, and a couple extra intelligence points because I don't need magic defense, I don't need to know magic damage from the highest land power. It's actually not a bad call though, because if you did get this, you would be able to, because I'm focusing on dark here, I'd be able to completely nullify dark damage that would be taken, but halving the damage combined with her resistance will already be good enough. So yeah, I don't need this, and because I can't get enough points to get the cooldowns yet, it doesn't matter to me too much. So once my button actually responds, we have Alice with the same old stuff here. She had an extra point, so Vitality is where it goes. I did manage to get her shield evasion up though, so that will help when I'm blocking with you know, the diamond shield and stuff. Now that should mean that pretty much all attacks get blocked at this point, because I was noticing that with her marionette sometimes she wasn't blocking the elemental stuff. Mostly I think because the shield doesn't block it too well. It's I guess, is it 50% less likely? I think it's 50% of the shield's evasion gets applied beforehand, so she just wasn't blocking quite enough. And I reckon this will solve the problem, but I might be wrong on that. I don't exactly know how the mechanics work, but it doesn't hurt to have it anyway, so yeah. Then we have Satori, maxed out third eye and learning. There is actually a skill in this fight that Satori can learn, and if you miss it now, then it's basically virtually impossible to get it. There is a way of doing it, but essentially it's a boss only skill, and you kind of want to get that skill if you're looking for completionist stuff. So yeah, maxed out learning is still good, and basically everything else is just all I could do. There's not really much else I could give here. I could give some eye tree stuff, I guess, and get a little tiny bit extra MP, but it's not too big deal. Well, then again, I'm not doing any status stuff, so I may as well just give that. It's entirely inconsequential, this stuff, really, but a tiny bit more power is a tiny bit more power, so we'll go with that. Then Byakuren once again used an amplifying scroll because that's pretty powerful overall, and just extra casting speed, so she guarantees going ahead of Patchouli, because Patchouli's surprisingly fast when she's using spell cards, so yeah, we need to guarantee that she goes ahead of Silent Selenay. And then tiny bit extra power on her barriers, and the rest just went to Great Magic because that's all I could really afford to give, and extra MP is always good. And that is it. So let's take a look skill wise. Marissa's pretty much outfitted for sparkness, really. Most of the time she's going to be alternating between Napalm and Master Spark. I might use Extreme Heat sometimes to make sure that Waterland doesn't get favoured, but honestly the boss herself doesn't really have water attacks, she just regens in Waterland. So long as you don't use water attacks you should be fine, so I might not even need to use this, but Patchouli is focusing on fire as a result of that Waterland thing, so you know, she's all outfitted for Hotspot, basically boosting firepower. And as a result, I might use the Extreme Heat on Marissa instead, because of the land favouring. Otherwise, I'm mostly going to be alternating between a fire attack and Silent Selenay, because I will be boosting Darkland a lot, and I have Dark Enhance on the book, so I may as well use that. Alice, same old, nothing really changes for Alice ever. And then Satori is going to be using the dark attacks pretty much all the time. She will be healing, obviously, when necessary. Mass heal is here as well as area heal, so that I could potentially heal Alice in the same turn. And largely it's going to be Demon Collider, with the option of Sunburst if I want to raise Fireland, or Energy Drain when I want to heal Satori if she gets smacked in the face herself, like a lot more than everybody else. And then Byakuren actually does not need Elemental Weapon, but I don't know what else I would give. Does she have an evasion buff? Doesn't look like she has an evasion buff, so I don't really know what else I could possibly give Byakuren. Maybe Sacred Barrier? I guess that makes sense. Or I could use Dark Galaxian because that's cool. We'll just have it on anyway, why not? Byakuren doesn't really get enough time to use her spells and stuff most of the time. She, because of her buffs being single target, she needs to use those most turns. Obviously it has a turn cooldown, but alternating between Armor Bless and Spell Enhance is fine, and occasionally using Dark Heal to heal the back row as well. And that is the third party, blasting through with magic power. So, with the quick scene change here, let's take this! Bang! Man, this one means business, right? That she has already just instantly come straight on the offense. And yeah, your sneak attack didn't work, good madam. So yeah, cocky looking character over here. And yeah, we are pretty good. She is Kagami Kaizuka. And she is the tank one, but yeah, she has been told to deal with us, And easy to get, likes to fight, blah blah blah. Yep. Yeah, we've established this already. Yes, indeed. Wait, but if Patchouli's not in this party, then she wouldn't say that, right? I thought the text wasn't unique, but that's a weird line to say. Anyway, none of your attacks will work. The ultimate defense. Yeah. Also, she just kind of skipped my tester, so whatever. She's like, shut up. And yeah, apparently the shellfish's defense is the best offense ever, so break your shell to pieces. Heck yeah. So, the sheer power of the shell will now be released. So, enter the third boss fight here. Now, this fight has a unique skill that is pretty much exclusive to this fight. You can get it from the final fight if the conditions are right. I won't spoil anything too much there, but essentially, if you miss learning the skill in this fight, you cannot get it again. This skill is called Hyper Fang Crush, and it's only used when she stores power. This boss can store power and focus magic, and she does different attacks obviously for each one. And yeah, store power, it gets replaced at lower health as well, with a different skill. So I've already gone ahead and done, copied the save file, done a separate fight with this, and instead of, basically just grinded out the skill. So we'll continue no matter what happens in this fight with that skill in tow. But we do still have a fight to do here. So, like I said in the preview for the team description and stuff, this character has 600 physical defense and 50% resistance to all physical elements. Physical attacks do not work against this character, but she does have 0 magic defense and no resistance to any form of magic whatsoever. So, as my foe decides that it's going to be weird, we can basically use any type of attack that we choose on the magic side, hence all the mages that we have here. Now, she does have a skill called Elemental Shield. She'll defend against core elements, but despite that, fire magic is still really good against her, so we'll run with that, and that'll be what Marissa does every second turn. She'll basically alternate between Extreme Heat and Master Spark, because Extreme Heat does more damage, especially under the fire boost, than Napalm does with my Growth Tree stuff, unfortunately cutting down my non-spell damage. So Byakuran is going to be faster. This is the other thing she can do, actually. If she uses Seclude, then she will counter-attack everybody in that turn. However, with Alice shielding, that counter-attack does pretty much no damage, and we can easily take it. She has either 1 or 2 actions per turn, and when she does focus magic, you want to protect Marissa here. I unfortunately don't have any dark resistance on Marissa, and Marissa would get one-shot by her attack here. She'll use something called Mini Shadow Flares, which is a multi-target dart move that will basically try and break your face if it can, but we can circumvent it by just not having stuff here. I also forgot to give Dark Galaxian back to Byakuran here instead of Element Weapon, but I don't care, because it won't make any difference in this fight whatsoever. So yeah, Mini Shadow Flares, it only hits once for some reason. You would expect it would hit 5 times, considering it hits everybody, and then Alice would die and I would be sad. But apparently it doesn't, and I'm glad it doesn't, because that means that I don't have to worry about Alice dying to it. So yeah. So since she hasn't cast her Elemental Barrier yet, I'm going to go ahead and use Agni Radiance instead of Selenite here, because that should do more damage actually, with the fire boost and everything. Especially with the Spell Enhance here, it's a nice looking skill, this one too. Yeah, 2800 damage is a bit more than what Selenite does. Selenite does about 2400, but that's with max land as well, so I don't know. it's just fine. So all you need to do for this fight, because she really is exceptionally passive otherwise, all you need to do is just defend every turn with Alice, and take her out with the power plays. Now, I do have defense buffing here as well, but seriously, it's completely pointless here. Like, it's absolutely unnecessary to defense buff this. You can defense buff it so that her shellfish attack doesn't do any damage to you, but it does so little damage anyway that it just doesn't seem worth it, you know? Like, ooh, I got counterattacked for 3 damage, so much. Now, she has stored power here, so we will see Hyper Fang Crush. If Satori gets hit by it, she learns it, basically. But it hits between 2 and 6 times, and it doesn't always hit the same character, so it might not even hit Satori, which is a bit of a problem. Final Spark still has a 4-turn cooldown, but she's gonna die before... I reckon she'll die before I actually get to use Master Spark again, so I'm just gonna use the Final Spark here, and you know what, I'll physical defense Satori just in case, because Hyper Fang Crush can still do a reasonable amount of damage. Yeah, just blitz her with your most powerful attacks, basically, and you shall be good to go. So Final Spark doesn't look too different from a regular Master Spark, but it does do a tiny bit more damage, which is fine, and there's the Hyper Fang Crush. Like I said, doesn't even hit Satori, so that's fine. We don't have another chance to learn it, because when Kagami gets into low health, instead of a regular bomb reload, she will actually do a double bomb reload. And the double bomb reload will make her use Vortex with the first bomb, and then Kagami's Killer Bite, a unique skill that you can't learn with the second bomb. And that is a more powerful version of the Hyper Fang Crush, and will generally kill anyone it touches, if it hits enough times. Like, Alice can survive it if it doesn't hit like 5 times, so it does about 110 damage per hit to her when she uses Little Legion. So yeah, quite powerful, but nothing we can't handle. And this fight is done, she's not going to get to use it. But just as a sort of demonstration that, wow, 5k on the crit, jeez. Crit damage is powerful. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to learn Hyper Fang Crush here, but I will... you did get to see it at the very least, and I will be continuing with a save file that has got said move. So that is fine, and we will have the exact same experience and level ups and stuff here, because that is what, you know, I just copied this file. So one of the nice things about this game is that the save file stuff is not locked behind anything. It is literally just a file in a folder that you can copy named to the next number in the list. There's about 8 slots for save files, so you can copy quite a few over. And it's either 8 or 6, might be 6 actually, but regardless, there's a lot of save slots, and you can freely copy and paste in the text, the files for stuff that way, so yeah. Oh, she's now crying, too bad. Wall of the Three Servants, yeah, well, you're basically like Alice, where Alice has got all the physical defense in the world, but she doesn't have any magic defense, and neither do you. Yeah, we have beaten a lot of gods and stuff, huh? And yeah, she is a shellfish, and they are kind of delicious, and now she's like, oh god, no, don't eat me. Oh, they're disgusting. Why, like, everybody's just discussing how to eat these girls. I don't understand. Why would you try and eat something that's humanoid? Like that. Seriously. Just... Oh, don't, please. Yeah, apparently they're always kidding with that. But yeah, Yuyuko would be straight at her, that's for sure. Now, I wonder what would happen if Yomu was the commander here, actually. Like, the leader of this party. If Yuyuko... Yeah, that would be interesting if she would say exactly the same thing. But yeah, we are done with all of the enemies here. So all 3 teams meet up, and yeah, that's it. Relieved indeed. Everybody's gotten through safely, which is great, because now we're finally done with the stupid party splitting mechanics. There's no more of it in stages and stuff like that. So yeah, unsurprisingly, yep, we just have to keep going. That's the thing. I have a feeling Reimu's supposed to be the one in the center here, but no, she wasn't in Team A, so yep, everybody's spawning except for the goddesses themselves. Finish this stupid incident. I guess Reimu could probably be the one saying that too, but yeah, I really get the feeling that Reimu's supposed to be the leader of that first spot. So we have a new healing circle, which is great, and if you want to leave, you can't, because you can't go through here. Too bad, you just have to keep going. So yeah, I hope you didn't lose out on that. So if we keep going through, then we'll see stage 19 here, but it doesn't actually tell us that it's stage 19 yet, so we will save that for next time. Till then, this has been GamerCow playing Touhou, the Genius of Sapphiros, and next time we take on, well, yeah, stage 19. I mean, all we have left now is just to keep on going and beat up the goddesses, right? So let's see how they've prepared for us.